Alright, this next speaker. Where's Derrick? This is not Derrick. This is Danny Cantel.
I'm not Derrick. I'm voting Derrick's speaking time. Sorry, bro. No, I want to introduce Derrick. So, our next speaker I wanted to introduce because this dude is, I forgot to mention him before when I was talking about my brothers. This guy is really dear to my heart because this guy keeps it real. Okay, he's not a Facebook mousepad revolutionary. This guy is, are you going to talk about what you're actually doing? Do you not want me to give it away? Alright, this guy, let me tell you what he did. He started a voluntarist community within Houston called the Houston Free Thinkers. They've got their own house. They've got two houses. Two houses. They do gardening. They do what they call skill shares, where people within the community share skills with each other. They teach each other to fix bikes and speak Spanish and all types of other things. And he is living voluntarism. He doesn't just come up here on stage and hog the spotlight like I do. He actually is living voluntarism. So I want to introduce you to Derrick Broze of the Houston Free Thinkers. He's also a writer for the Intel Hub, and he writes some pretty great articles there as well.
Thank you for that, Dan. I saw this. Thank you everybody. I'm honored to be here with so many amazing people, John Bush, Antonio Bueller, even everybody who didn't get to speak today. Honored to be here with you guys. And I want to bring a message to you guys that is I believe is unique and will resonate with some of you. And if not, then I hope you enjoy it either way. But my discussion today is about forming a synthesis between anarchy and spirituality. Now, I'm interested in finding common ground between the philosophy of anarchy, specifically agorism, and spirituality, specifically Buddhism and shamanism. So, first I want to define these terms for what we're all to be on the same page here. Anarchy, we all know, self-rule, self-ownership, lack of central authority. When I say agorism, I'm speaking of the philosophy of anarchy that focuses on self-sufficiency, the idea of counter-economics, black and gray markets, creating alternatives like Daniel was speaking, like we're doing in Houston. And when I say spirituality, I'm referring to a practice, whatever that may be, that brings you closer to your nature, to your essence, to who you are. And when I mention Buddhism, I'm speaking specifically about Zen Buddhism and the meditation practice known as Zazen. So, and finally, shamanism. Shamanism has been called the aboriginal roots of religion. All over the world, cultures, aboriginal, native people, they were deeply connected to nature in the past, and they would use practices, some that us here in the modern and rational world would consider insane. And through the use of hallucinogenic plants, drums, meditation, one could experience a cleansing, a connection, and a deeper understanding of self. And this is also done through shamanic journeys, deeply personal journeys. So those topics right there are what we're going to get into. My interest in these topics has drawn me to find common threads. Through people such as John Bush, I grew interested in agorism, voluntarism, and through my own personal experiences, I've been interested in meditation, things like that. So as my interests have grown, I've started to see these connections, and I think they're pretty apparent. My interest in anarchy comes from a want of freedom. My interest in agorism came from a need for action, to create solutions in my life, and to try to make a better world. And I think that's what we're all really after here. And while agorism calls for action by creating alternative currencies, by self-sufficiency and barter networks, Zen also calls for action. Agorism is action in the physical realm, and Zen is action of the mind. In Zen, the greatest action you can take is to sit, to still your mind, and to be with yourself. You must silence the noise, detach. It's really just about being conscious, being more aware of your own decisions. I know a lot of us get caught up on, for lack of better terms, hippie stuff. I don't really know what that means anymore, but this is just about connecting with your mind. That's all it really is. And these two philosophies both call for action. One in the physical sense, the other calls for action in the internal world. But both, again, about action. So while studying some of the anthropological studies of shamanism from cultures around the world, I find an amazing connection to anarchy. There's this anthropologist named Michael Harner. He wrote the book that is the classic book on shamanism called The Way of Shamanism. And when speaking on the reason that shamanism and indigenous teachings were wiped out, he said the following. The reason it was wiped out is that it undermines the authority of the state and church. To have hundreds of thousands of prophets running around on the loose. In shamanism, everyone is his or her own prophet, getting spiritual revelation directly from the highest sources. Such people rock the boat. They are subversive. After all, if everyone is an authority, there is little possibility of creating a monopolistic business based on privileged access or right to interpret the words of official prophets or books. It's anarchy. Shamanism is the original anarchy. I know everybody has reluctance and trepidation whenever I start speaking of spirituality, and there's, I'm sure, some atheists here who have a problem with religion, and we've all had weird experiences in different ways, but I'm not speaking about religion. To me, religion is to spirituality as statism is to anarchy. On both ends, we see control and we see blocks of freedom. Thank you. Meditation and shamanic practices are completely and personally direct experiences that no one can tell you. You know, whatever you find there in your own mind, nobody can take that away from you. In the same way we see these experiences with anarchy, we see this is our direct connection to being sovereign, to being free. There's no authority in there. There's a direct correlation. So, to pursue meditation, to pursue shamanic practices, it requires letting go of fears, insecurity, and ego. And I know it's hard to believe that anarchists have ego. To be fair though, I'm not proposing any anarcho-shamanism. I'm not trying to say that this is a one-size-fits-all solution because obviously those don't work. I'm rather providing another option, what I believe is a further evolvement of anarchy. In the New Libertarian Manifesto, Samuel Konkin wrote, "There is no one way, one straight line graph to liberty, to be sure, but there is a family of graphs that will take the libertarian to his goal of a free society, and that space can be described." And I believe with a sense of spirituality and understanding of self, coupled with a philosophical understanding of anarchy and the role of government, is another solution. If we simply understand the nature of government and the immorality of force, but we don't go deeper with it and don't pursue to conquer our own demons, to learn about who we are, to get past the deeper root causes that are the true cause of statism, we may beat this current government and get past statism, and we're going to create agorist ventures and all this. But in a couple hundred years or so, I believe we will have created a new type of statism. We really don't pursue deeper levels of understanding of ourselves and the things that make us mistreat each other, that make us pursue violence, that make us pursue and allow theft, and to be caught up in fear. Because as we all know, the state controls us through fear. So as long as we allow that fear to bind us, we're going to keep creating the same situation. Konkin also wrote, a lot more than statism would have to be eliminated from an individual consciousness for a free society to exist. We have to remain consistent with our message and in our actions. When we apply our principles consistently, not only in political and activist realms, but in our everyday lives with our thoughts, our words, and our actions, we are contributing to the continued evolution of our species. Now, I know many of you, you're likely familiar, if you're familiar with agorism, you're familiar with the 3 A's of agorism. Agora, or the marketplace, the exchange, anarchy, self-rule, obviously, and action, what's needed to move these things forward. And the 3 A's, they've constantly been reminding me lately of sort of a paraphrase of a Buddhist saying the sentiment of wisdom, compassion, and action. The 3 of these form a path to success as far as Buddhism is concerned. So you think about this, we have wisdom, you're a smart, intelligent person, so you understand the world, you look at things and you have your view of it. But if you don't have compassion, you're uncompassionate to your fellow human being, how and why would you choose to work with them to advance forward? You know, you're only thinking about yourself. But if you have compassion only but no wisdom, then you're continuously running around letting your heart lead you and getting, strictly your heart, and getting hurt, being led afoul. But if you have wisdom and the smarts to use it and compassion towards yourself and those around you, even that alone is not enough. We need wisdom, we need compassion, and as we know, we need action. With that in mind, I like to look at the 3 A's of agorism, and I'd like to propose a 4th A. I believe anarchy, the Agora, and of course action are necessary, and of course are a path to success. I would like to propose that awareness be a part of this path. Once again, awareness of self, so you better rule yourself. How can you know if you're truly free? How can you know how to rule yourself, what you want if you don't understand who you are, where you come from, what you're afraid of, your insecurities, your doubts, your fears, and how to conquer them and move forward past them? You set yourself free with their anarchy, and of course you need an awareness of economics in the marketplace, and awareness applied to action. By striving to be free every day in our lives, through community building, anarchy, action, we bring others to this philosophy. I mean, we've been hearing this all day. This is why we're doing media. This is why we're live streaming. This is why we're still out there on the streets. Some of us are still working in those local political realms because we're not there yet. We need the Agora's pockets to outweigh the status pockets. And when we apply the same understanding and awareness to our own selves and our place in the universe, we are deepening our understanding of what it truly means to be free. So I hope each and every one of you will take some time to slow down, be conscious, be more aware of your own thoughts, your words, and your actions. Thank you.